Hello, I'm James Baggott. I'm the founder of Car Dealer Magazine, and today we're talking to wheeler dealer and used car dealership owner Mike Brewer. Morning, Mike. How are you?
Good morning, James. Yes, I'm okay. Yeah, not bad at all. Thank you.
Yeah, we're here to discuss quite a serious matter, aren't we? Now, for those people who follow you on social media and who have read on our website, there was a worrying story yesterday that you shared about a serious credit card fraud that saw your business conned out of several thousands of pounds. I think it was around £10,000. We'll come on to that in a moment. But a day on from that, Mike, you've been contacted by a huge number of dealers, some of you who have suffered similar losses. Today we'll chat about what happened and what you think other dealers should do to protect themselves. But Mike, thank you for sharing your time with us today. Can we just start with a little reminder of what actually happened?
Well, we at One Automotive are very proud of the stock that we carry and the range of stock that we carry. Obviously, we get lots of inquiries. If you got good quality stock and it's priced well and the adverts look good, you get lots of inquiries. And it's quite usual for us as a small independent garage, and I'm pretty sure for lots of independent garages across the UK, to deal with customers that are remote. They can't actually get to you physically in person. And that would have happened during, the lockdown period with doctors and nurses needing cars and people needing their cars, but can't actually get to a dealer. So remote selling is a thing. It's almost revolutionized the used car sales market. So we've all got used to that. We had a Volkswagen Golf GT diesel advertised, very nice car. We had it up at just over or just under £10,500. We were contacted by several people that were interested in buying the car, but one of these people was a customer, and I will name him because this is part of a wider fraud. His name is Gary Knight. I'm not saying that all Gary Knights out there are suspicious, but just remember the name Gary Knight because it is important. We were contacted by Gary Knight, who showed lots of interest in the car. He was based up in Harrogate in Yorkshire, and like a normal sales process, we went for our due diligence with him on his behalf because he wanted to make sure the car was up to spec and up to scratch. So we did the cursory walk around video of the car, showed him all the details, sent him pictures of the service history, the registration document, everything we had with the car, the two sets of keys. He then wanted to proceed with the sale. He wanted to pay by card over the phone. Again, nothing unusual in that. It would be like any transaction you would make to your florist, to Amazon, to Tesco's online. People pay by card online. But for a large purchase like this, we want to make sure that we're talking to the customer, Gary Knight, and not somebody fake. So we asked for some identification in the form of a driver's license. So Gary, without even thinking about it in the blink of an eye, we had photographs of a UK driver's license, both front and back, with a registered address. So there you go. We can't do any more than that. We could ask for utility bills, but in hindsight, they could be faked if they thought that was going to be important. But driver's license, and we matched the name on the driver's license to the card. So the card was the same name as what was on the driver's license. We did the payments. There were two payments actually of £5,245. They went through immediately. He arranged for his own courier company to collect the car. We did give him a quote for couriering the car, but he said he can get it done cheaper. A courier company turned up. We did another video of the car being collected by the courier company. So we've got photographs of the delivery driver or the collection driver and registration number of that vehicle as well. And that was it. Invoice was struck. Car's gone. Money's in the bank. Another sale for One Automotive. We're very happy. Just like we've done possibly a thousand times in the last year. So that's it. We're very happy with the deal and the sale. But we then get contacted by Barclays 2 weeks later to say, unfortunately, they're going to charge back the whole amount to their of our funds and claim it back. And there's nothing we can do about it because their customer was scammed. It was one of their customers woke up in the morning, opened up his mail, see that he'd bought a car from One Automotive for £10,490. and says that it wasn't him. But we get no recourse on that. There's nothing we can do about it. They just tell us that they're taking the money back, and it's Barclays Bank. Now, what's important with that part of the story from our point of view, and this is where we are today and going forward, is that uh, we weren't the people that got scammed. It's Barclays' customer that's had his identity stolen and been used to purchase something online. So it's Barclays' customer that's been scammed from our point of view, not us. However, the onus has now fallen on us, the dealer, and are just taking the money back. And we think that's criminal and that's wrong and that needs to be addressed. So that's where we are at the moment, but clearly that's had a dramatic effect on our business because we can't lose that kind of money. The insurance company are going to laugh at us. You sent a car with a logbook, keys, and a registration document. Good luck with that. So we're not going to get paid out that way. So our business is going to suffer that loss, and we can't suffer a loss like that. We employ several people. We're a small independent garage. We work very hard, and I want it to be a warning to other dealers out there that this is a scam that's taking place, and it's going to hugely affect all of us from this moment going forward.
Yeah, Mike, that's an incredibly painful story to hear, and I feel incredibly sorry for you and the team. I've got a couple of questions just on that transaction. Just I'd like to clarify with people. There will be some people who make payments online with their own credit cards, and often you get a text message ping up on your phone, don't you, saying, "Here's the authentication code." I think it's just worth explaining how this is a different transaction, because when you take a payment, and this is how I believe it works, via a remote terminal, which is probably what you did, you don't need those codes, do you? Or some terminals don't need that. Is that what happened?
That's it. What you need is the postcode. So we took the
Right.
postcode off the driver's license, and the transaction went through. The thing that I'm baffled by, if there's two payments of £5,245 seconds after one another, usually that would alert the bank to call the customer and say, "Is this a legitimate transaction? Is this for real?" But no, nothing. The customer didn't get alerted by his bank. He just had the money taken from his account, and therefore we've now had the money taken from our account. And I don't know what Barclays Bank are doing with their fraud detection. It doesn't seem like it's in a good place to me. And the reason for me saying that, James, and I'm sorry to call Barclays out on this, we have been inundated since the story broke yesterday. We've been inundated with dealers up and down the United Kingdom. And not only car dealers, we've been inundated with machinery dealers, boat dealers that have all fallen foul of the same scam with fake ID and a stolen credit card. And all of them, every single one of them, been charged back, and it's all Barclays. Nobody said American Express, NatWest, Lloyd's. It's all been Barclays. So there is something at fault there, and it's something that Barclays should address. They should get on top of their security protocols with large transactions.
I must point out we have spoken to Barclays and asked them for comment, and they haven't commented on this story yet. We're expecting them to send us something over, and if they do, I'll obviously share that with you and our readers. Mike, I suppose the other thing with this is the fact that this customer sent their own delivery company, their own courier, to pick the car up. I suppose if you'd done it the other way round, you would have gone to their address, and maybe, I mean, I know other dealers have been scammed out even at that point. People have been waiting outside somebody else's house to take delivery. But I suppose you could have done second checks there. But you weren't to know, were you? He's obviously part of the deal. He's just saying, I've got a better deal here to pick up the car. Why would you be suspicious of that?
Why should we be, James? This is a customer who's buying a car from us, asking questions along the way. This is a normal transaction for a small garage like us. This is a transaction that happens 4 or 5 times a week. It won't happen anymore, I can tell you that. But this, as I say, this is not unique. It's not unique to Mike Brewer and One Automotive. We found out that this has been happening time and time again to several dealers up and down the country, where they've all been scammed in the same way. And some of those have even uh, the same name, Gary Knight. As I say, there are good Gary Knights out there. So I'm just warning dealers to be vigilant of the name Gary Knight. If he wants to buy a car remotely from you, I would do your checks before you allow that car to go. Other dealers have contacted me and said that they've actually traced the courier company and spoke to the delivery driver. And the delivery driver says, yes, he's dropped the car where he was told to in a housing estate up north. And somebody was there to collect the car. As soon as it was taken off of the low loader, a squiggle on a piece of paper, it's gone. The car's driven off as quickly as that.
Are the police investigating this, Mike?
Unfortunately, James, we have informed the police. We have got a crime reference number. No good that's going to do us with insurance. Through my experience, having the Fiesta stolen on Wheeler Dealers, the police they consider this fraud. It's not that important to them. If the car is caught doing 33 and a 30, James, it will be found by our constabulary, but they simply don't care. And I'm sorry to say that out loud here about the UK police force, but having been a victim of another car theft on my show, Wheeler Dealers, and the Fiesta, and it's never recovered. We've actually given the police addresses where that car is, as seen by other people, and they refuse to go and investigate it. So, unfortunately, the police won't do anything. And I've had that, again, I will say, James, not just from my point of view, several times, several dealers have said the police just don't want anything to do with it.
You'd think the serious fraud office or the fraud department would look into a case like this. Mike, what about the future then? Has this put you off doing remote sales completely? Are you going to do this sort of deal again?
No, of course not, James. I'm not going to do this deal again. And yes, it has put us off remote sales. Our business cannot suffer a £10,500 loss. It simply can't. We would be we'd be broke within a couple of months. We just don't have that kind of profit in the business. So, yes, for us, it's fundamentally going to change the way that we do business. There'll be no more remote sales. The customer has to be there in person, or we have to go to the customer in person to the address that's registered, to their identity, to their driver's license. That is the only way these transactions can ever take place. And I suggest it should be the same for every dealer out there that has a very similar way that they do business. You really have to be diligent. If you're dealing with a remote sale and running a number and a ID through your system, there's no guarantee that it's actually real. There is no guarantee to that. The driver's license that I put a fuzzy image of it up online because it might be a real person's face, looks, to all intents and purposes, looks absolutely 100% genuine to everyone who looks at it. But unfortunately, it's fake. The driver's license is fake. So yes, it will fundamentally change the way that we do business. We will never do a remote sale unless we have the customer there physically in person, and we can verify that person against their card. If they come into the dealership like normal, somebody wanders in and buys a car, we've got them on every camera, so that's fine. That's just a normal way to do business. But for remote selling, no, it will change.
And I suppose the other way around this is bank transfer, getting people to pay their deposit and the price in full via bank transfer.
Bank transfer would be the best way, I would suggest. But even with bank transfer, I'm pretty sure that could be frauded as well. These scammers are very good at what they do. Clearly, they know what they're doing. This is obviously a ring. Judging by the contact that I've had with dealers out there, we're well into the hundreds of thousands of pounds worth of stolen cars with one name, Gary Knight. So this is clearly a ring. But unfortunately for me and for these other dealers, the bit that irks all of us is the fact that the onus has fallen on us, and we're not the person that got scammed. It's their customer that got scammed. So why should it become our fault? And that's where I am with Barclays.
Mike, now I know you've been talking to Logistics, the legal firm that helps the motor trade out. We spoke to them this morning. I'm just going to read out a statement that we got from Nona Bokis, who's the head of legal services at Logistics, who said this sort of issue comes up on a semi-regular basis, and the banks generally say that any card not present transaction is inherently risky, and on that basis, their first action is to take the money back from the dealer, who of course is as much a victim as the card holder whose details have been stolen. She says, we don't know how much investigation Barclays undertook when their customer complained. Did they simply believe that they said because they are a consumer rather than conduct a more thorough review of the matter? If the banks know that the card not present transactions are inherently risky, why did they allow two transactions of over £5,000 to go through on the same card without asking for app authorization from the customer? She said they've had a case previously where a card payment was taken, the vehicle was delivered to the address on the driving license, and it turned out to be fraud. And with the benefit of hindsight, the delivery driver only realized that the person hadn't walked out of the property, they'd simply been waiting outside for the delivery driver. She says every bit of due diligence counts in these matters. Highlighting the issue also matters as much because dealers will feel embarrassed about this has happened. And she praises you, Mike, on warning other people and taking on this with the banks. Mike, listening to that and all of that information you've given us, have you got any kind of final advice for car dealers when it comes to this?
Yeah, just like logistics say, it's down to us now. The onus now falls onto the dealers and to the dealer network. Whether we are talking cars, machinery, boats, whether you're selling a pair of shoes out of a shoe shop, it doesn't matter. The onus now falls on us because we can't rely on the banks out there to protect us of their scammed customer, and we have to make sure that we do our due diligence. So we will do. We'll conduct it thoroughly in future. And I just want dealers out there to be warned. You know, just be careful, be warned. I think the world changed now. You know, I know this has been going on a while, but I'm the one that's shouting about it. And I think we all need to think about how we do business in the future from this moment on. Hopefully, off the back of this, somebody will come up with a national database of ID check. I know there's going to be problems around that in terms of compliance, but if there is a national database where we, as a dealer network, we can get driver's license and do a check on that driver's license to see if it's genuine or not, that would help in the future. So maybe some clever person out there could work on that. But yeah, I mean, make sure the customer's there physically in person, or you're standing at their house like that very good delivery driver. I wish I had that one, James. But yeah, just don't get your fingers burnt.
Mike, thank you very much for sharing this worrying story with us and our viewers and our readers. We really appreciate it, and I wish you the best of luck in battling Barclays and trying to get that money back.
Thank you very much, James. Really appreciate the opportunity to get this on your network. Thank you very much.
No, it's an absolute pleasure. Lovely to talk to you. That's Mike Brewer from Wheeler Dealers and One Automotive. So big thanks to him for sharing that story with us. You can find more video interviews with Mike on our YouTube channel. Go and have a look for those. And for the latest on the car industry, check out our website. It's cardealermagazine.co.uk. Thanks very much for joining us. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.